So my Wi-Fi dongle is trying to get hooked up with my router, and my router's like, no way, I don't need no dongles all up in here.
Say it again, it almost sounds dirty. Dongle.
Well, I'm just saying, my internet situation
now.
My internet situation is a lot like NetJester's sex life. Hey-o!
Rejected dongles everywhere. Speaking of rejected dongles, it's Oksana let go because Kevin Dunn no longer favored her and made room for newer NXT divas like Charlotte and Sasha Banks. Aw, poor Oksana. Rosa Mendez avoided the axe because they want her for the next season of Total Divas. There's talk of splitting up Cameron and Naomi for the show, with the latter turning heel, which doesn't make sense to me. The Big Show will be off TV for a while as he films the new WWE film Vendetta, where he gets imprisoned in a prison to get the killer of his wife, which they specifically don't let you do. Snooki appeared on Chris Jericho's podcast, noted she's been begging Vince McMahon to come back and wrestle more, which would be okay since she's naturally athletic, more so than some of the divas. And Mets fan forever, a proven informant on Reddit, states he has stated from sources that AJ Lee is pregnant and might be out indefinitely. Dave Meltzer confirms her return hasn't been talked about all that much. So, a bunch of little diva news and some various tidbits from the WWE.
We did a quick look up at that, and who else stars in that WWE film Vendetta? None other than the best Superman of all time, Dean Cain.
Where's that cricket sound? It's in here somewhere.
And the crowd smiled.
Yeah, I don't have it available currently, but yes, I know what you're talking about. But I will give you an applicable sound.
That works for me.
I don't know. The only thing I really particularly care about, no disrespect to AJ, because you know she's a good competitor and everything, but at the same time, you know, what is she really missing? You know, they're a bit interchangeable. Although Snooki actually put on a pretty decent performance at WrestleMania that one year, so maybe bringing her in would be a neat little thing, unless they think her star is past.
Well, she's probably just running short on money and needs a check.
No, actually, I believe she's doing pretty well for herself, from what I understand.
Anyway, we've said it before, it's worth saying again. Pretty much the WWE for the last few years have been booking the poor Divas division like they're interchangeable. I mean, you can't. It's not. It's just.
That's because they are interchangeable. Next.
Well, it seems the home video and merchandise partners have been issued memos that the new WWE logo, which is the one currently in use by the network, will go into 100% effect the day after SummerSlam. WWE is offering $5,000 a year to former talents toward their education and money management. They are also no longer flying in the Rosebuds, instead using local talent to play them, but they do pay for road expenses when the event is within driving distance. WrestleZone claims WWE once again instituted a dress code this week, with fines being levied for violations and a zero-tolerance rule for showing up to a taping after the designated call time, which is usually around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It seems the company has reportedly yet to distribute WrestleMania bonuses, video game checks, or even inform the talent on how their pay-per-view bonuses are affected by the network some 4 months after the launch of it. So perhaps morale getting a bit low in that respect, especially after recent releases.
Holy cow! I mean, this is pretty bad news. I mean, besides the bonus situation, which I think would be important, now you're instituting dress codes, which for grown adults is pretty on the idiot side. The only thing I can say about the call times is, yes, that's perfectly reasonable to enforce, but other than that, this is a bunch of bad news.
I know of one indie wrestler who was a Rosebud recently. That's not terribly surprising. Let's see here, what else? The furthering education thing is something that's really good. The dress code thing is very interesting. I don't understand why they're cracking down on that.
It's really kind of, I mean, you know, it came from Russell's Zone, so it is a bit of a, take it with a grain of salt, you know, but it is pretty ridiculous, the concept of the dress code. I understand they want them to look nice and everything, you know, like a lot of other athletes, you know, when they're off the field, they do dress nicely at press events and such, and, you know, that's totally understandable, but the whole idea of, you know, asking your characters to, you know, dress in a suit just so for the, you know, 90 or so seconds they go from their car to the arena and back again is a little bit silly, especially since, you know, you do have characters like the Wyatts, for example, or John Cena, who apparently gets a pass, you know, so he can wear his signature, you know, jean shorts and such.
Yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 other people who've had passes in the past, including CM Punk. So, probably, since Punk is gone, people are cracking down on it. Or that, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, so we're gonna move into the most exciting news of the whole damn show. New Japan Pro Wrestling made several announcements this week, including participants for the G1 Climax and matches for them, which look amazing. AJ Styles, Shelton Benjamin, Lance Archer, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, Kota Ibushi among them, and an official partnership with, get this, Global Force Wrestling. That's right. NJPW and GFW are linking up, and perhaps we shall see NJPW talent in America through GFW. Devin Nicholson, who won $2.3 million damages after alleging Abdullah the Butcher cut him without permission and gave him hepatitis C, claims now that he's hepatitis free. He will receive a WWE tryout on July 18th. Conan and Court Bauer commented on Sheamus on a recent MLW radio episode on the former claiming that Sheamus told Sin Cara Unico to get off the trainer's bed so he could use it, and afterwards, were exchanged, he threw the first punch, only to get his legs swept out from under him. Poor Sheamus. What are you doing, bro?
I'd like to know the answer to that question myself. That is absolutely asinine. You're supposed to be professionals, people, but, oh yes, NJPW, now we have a reason to watch Global Force Wrestling. If they get NJPW guys over here, I will be over the freaking moon.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Russell 1 partnering with TNA and Global Force partnering with New Japan. You know, Russell 1 is nice and young and upstart, and that's good. But at the same time, New Japan is New Japan. I mean, you know, you can't necessarily compare the two.
Arguably, the number 2 wrestling promotion in the world right now.
Also, I hear that Tajiri's Wrestling New Classic had shut down.
Yes, I was just about to mention that myself. Thank you. That's sad that in a few years his second wrestling promotion went down in flames, but hopefully he can get a job with either NJPW or All Japan or...
He's working with All Japan right now. He merged with All Japan, I think.
Oh, that's a little bit of good news. And one more thing. The last time I checked, and I have friends and family who have been in the professional healthcare game for years and years and years and years now, hepatitis C isn't exactly curable. I don't think you can be hepatitis free after catching it. So what is this?
I have no idea.
Me either. Maybe he meant it's in remission. I don't know.
Well, no blading for that guy, that's for sure.
Well, you could get rid of the virus, apparently. Medicines including peg interferon and antiviral drugs. They're aimed at helping the body get rid of the virus and reducing the risk of cirrhosis and liver cancer, which can result from a long-term HCV infection, apparently.
All right.
Well,
All right, let's move on here. Let's move on here from our medical discussion, and let's go into the 15-minute time limit. Well, this week on the 15-minute time limit, we're going to be talking about Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank pay-per-view is this Sunday, and as usual, we'll be filling out our 4 downs, 4down.org. You can go fill out there, and if you get all the answers correct, which I guarantee you probably won't, you will win some sort of prize, which is wonderful. So you can join us there, and we're going to give our predictions and the results in the format of the 4 downs. So our first little note here is that Daniel Bryan will appear on the pre-show. So here's my question to you all. What will Daniel Bryan say and or do?
He'll probably just answer fan questions, which is basically just me coming back, which is basically just I hope to be back soon, which is basically just a big yes chant in the making for the idea that he'll regain the championship back.
Either one of you two smart Alex have anything to say to that?
Not really. I do wish Daniel Bryan a speedy recovery and it gets his little Billy Goat ass back here ASAP, but, we'll just have to stick with his appearance on the pre-show and have that be our heroine to take us into the summer.
Yeah. I could go either. Go ahead, Omega.
Well, I was just going to say, I do think it's kind of funny that they've had midgets on the pre-show for 3 shows in a row.
Oh,
they're not midgets, Omega. They're little persons.
Oh, now that's a lot of more bull than whatever his name is.
El Torito. Jesus Christ, Ned Jester. I'm not even watching the show anymore, and I know this.
Announced on SmackDown this week. Oh my God! Announced on SmackDown this week is Ryback against Gold Star.
Okay, I guess.
Dust times 2.
Or Dust squared. Double Dust. Yes. Do you think they're over enough to win? What do you guys think of Stardust?
Over Rybaxel? I don't think you have to be all that over to go over Rybaxel.
Hell, you could be El Torino and go over on Ryback.
Torino! Jesus Christ.
Well, yes,
Torino Pizza is the sponsor of WWE.
There you go.
Could we not focus on the goddamn ball?
So, I think they're definitely over enough to go over Rybaxel. I'm not sure why they're... Have they even fought anyone else? It seems like all they've been doing is fighting Rybaxel every other week.
Because they can't beat him, and Rybaxel has actually solidified as a team. Because they've been together so long and they've been in purgatory, basically, that they don't know what to do with them.
So then why aren't they facing other teams and eventually going after the titles instead of facing the same team that they keep beating over and over and over?
But they don't keep beating them.
They're going to beat them this time, and, they don't have anything better for Cody right now. They're going to keep him as Stardust. Unless people stop reacting to it, then they'll probably eventually do a split in that whole singles match they've been wanting to do for years now. So.
Exactly. I've got Stardust getting the pin on McGillibuddy.
Here we go. Yep.
Now is the genesis of the origin
terribleness of your face.
You think Naomi's gonna beat Paige for the Divas title?
Oh, for God's sake, no.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
There's no way in hell they do that. If they do, I'd say I'm going to swear off the Divas division, but I've already swore off the whole product.
Remember here, we're not talking. It's Naomi, not Cameron.
Well, it's the better one of the two. I think that Paige wins this match. I think she retains. I think it's going to be whatever better match is. But it's going to be interesting to watch her get Naomi into her inverted scorpion deathlock thing.
Yes, that's going to be pretty hot. But I'll go even farther than you guys. I will say that Cameron will definitely have some shenanigans in this match that will enable Paige to beat Naomi for the Divas title. And there goes the Funkadactyls. Goodbye.
Could be. You know, when I really think about it, I can't really think of any Divas better than Naomi to beat her for the title. But I don't think it's going to happen just yet.
Alright, moving on here. The Usos against the non-Wyatt Wyatts for the championship.
With the new accordion version of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands.
It would seemingly make sense here for the Wyatts to win, but I don't think they're going to.
I could see a swap happening, but it's really a coin flip. I've got Usos to win. Yes, interference, pinfall. Jimmy pins Eric because Eric is definitely the less talented of the two. But enough of that. Enough of the regular matches. We have our two Money in the Bank matches. Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger versus Rob Van Dam versus Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose in the Money in the Bank for the future WWE WHC title shot.
Oh.
What do you guys think?
Sorry for jumping in, but I just got to ask. Should we... The spoilers that were on Woo this week, should we integrate them into this discussion?
Of course.
Okay. It might be, and we haven't confirmed this 100%, that Bad News Barrett has some sort of shoulder injury after the SmackDown tapings this week. We'll have to wait till Friday to make sure. But that could mean that BNB is out of this one. So, who do you think should go in his spot? And if he's not, then who do you think will win?
So, here's the kind of fuckery that I believe the WWE is now capable of. Dean Ambrose to win this Money in the Bank ladder match for the future for the contract, and then Roman to win the World Heavyweight Championship, and a terrible feud that could have been awesome but gets done shittily instead, and then everybody hates it.
Someone's jaded.
Well, as far as the Money in the Bank contract match, if Seth Rollins doesn't get this one, being he's got Trips in his corner, I'll be damn surprised. My sentimental favorite for winning would be, of course, Rob Van Dam or Dean Ambrose, but yeah, I'm going to go with Seth on this one.
Can I say who I really want to win? I mean, there's like zero chance of it happening. Excuse me, but I would love if Dolph Ziggler would get the contract and get the title and actually get to hold it for a little while.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, to be completely honest with you, if they did exactly what they did last year with Randy Orton. Remember, whatchamacallit? Remember what we were saying about... Remember what we were saying? Oh god, I lost my thought. But the point of the matter is that last year, remember, Randy Orton was losing clean to people, basically, on SmackDown, The Shield, as a matter of fact, or on Raw, rather, and his the fact that he lost that and then won the Money in the Bank contract would lead me to say that Yankum is actually correct in saying that Dolph Ziggler would win, and this would even be more compounded upon the fact that Jester was just talking about the shoulder injury that is potentially bothering Wade Barrett. Now, we don't know anything really about that necessarily, but it is my obligation to sit here on this podcast and say this until he wins one. Wade Barrett will win the Money in the Bank contract this time around. He deserves it. He needs it. It would be the most perfect cash-in when the gimmick is still hot to go, I'm afraid I've got some bad news, and then cash it in.
Really, when you break this thing down, I think Seth and Dean are there to fight each other. Kingston and Van Dam are there to do high kicks, and probably Kingston is there to fall into a table again. Swagger's there to fill it out. Dolph is, I believe, the dark horse, because, I believe he could win it. I don't necessarily believe he could win the title from it, but I do believe he could win the case. But yeah, my pick would probably be Barrett, if indeed he is still good to go for the whole thing.
Yep, Kofi's going to be in for some cat skinnery again.
I'm looking forward to this match over the other one because this one will be the flippy shit, and I would like it. But let's move on to the next one before we run out of our time. How long have we got, Jester?
What? I got time? You're telling me this now?
Yes. You had one job, Jester. One job.
I thought that was
Alright,
I came in late.
Alright, so it's Del Rio versus Orton versus Sheamus versus Cesaro versus Wyatt versus Cena versus Kane versus Reigns.
Who you got?
Well, based on what we were talking about earlier, even without that, really, it's not going to be, since we're not talking about a small transitional reign until Bryan gets back. If we were, I might say somebody like Del Rio, honestly, because he would be a good transitional, doesn't really matter what you do with him choice. But since we're not talking about that, Del Rio's out, it's probably not going to be Orton. It's not going to be Sheamus since he has a title. Likely not Wyatt. Likely not Wyatt. Reigns, it's too soon. He's got Triple H to fight. Kane, probably. Not even sure why he got added, to be honest. No disrespect to him. So that leaves Cesaro, who was kind of the favorite, and then Cena. If Cesaro was in the other one, I would say absolutely he was winning the case. But the title, under the circumstances, I don't think so. I think it's pretty obvious Cena is going to be the token choice and go on to face Lesnar and do that whole spiel.
Now hold on just 1 second. I'm going to counter your point right there, Mr. Omega. I appreciate the fact that you didn't ride the fence on this one, but I believe you are incorrect. Cesaro will win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and I will tell you why. Because it makes the most sense. Number one, Cesaro is quite possibly one of the hottest talents in the WWE today if his stock is on the rise, and this particular moment, and a very strong showing in this match would lead him to being completely and totally over and credible. The only other person besides John Cena to be able to hold up against Lesnar would be Cesaro, and it would make sense because it would put Paul Heyman in the middle of the two. It would be an extremely interesting dynamic to have this happen, and while some would say that this would be the idea of Cesaro and Lesnar going against it, because they are both, quote, Heyman guys, would be something that, would totally make my theory null and void. I would argue against, because it hasn't been done yet, and when this opportunity was here before, when Punk was a Heyman guy, they didn't pull the trigger on that. So I am calling right now SummerSlam. John Cena will not be in that main event. It will be Antonio Cesaro against the man who is the one in 21-1 for the WWE Championship, while Cena goes off and finishes his feud with Bray Wyatt, potentially. And then Roman will face Triple H again, and this will be all very, very, very interesting. And then Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Alberto Del Rio will be stuck in SmackDown hell.
Yeah, no. Cena's gonna win. That I appreciate your level of denial that you're willing to go down to, but no. Cena wins, bro. And the stuff you said was really cool. I'd like to see Cesaro versus Lesnar, but
he's super strong. And it's the right time. It isn't too soon. It isn't too soon for Cesaro. It's too soon for Reigns. It's not too soon for Cesaro.
I will just be totally and completely surprised if they pick anybody else for this match except Cena. That's we've just become so jaded with the product as of late that, you know, LOL, Cena is what Vince thinks when he wakes up in the morning and when he goes to sleep at night. I mean, anybody else but Cena, and unfortunately Kane, because he shouldn't be in this match in my opinion, but I don't see anybody except Cena winning this match.
Anything else? Anyone else?
NJ's wrong to say Kane shouldn't be in that match because Kane is awesome and he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to go out in the middle of the ring and fucking knit some socks, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Jesus Christ, Jacob. You were such a little fanboy. Alright, so that's it for this particular segment. Yankum, we're going to move on here. So play some music, play us out, etc.
We still got 17 and a half minutes.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
So we don't have to break? Okay. Alright, so what's our segment 3 then?
I thought it was a drive-thru.
Are you just hungry?
I'm just hungry.
Alright, let's do it then.
Wait, no. I'm sorry. Because we didn't get to talk about it during the time limit. Let's do segment 3, overtime. NJ, you're on time. Please. Let's give it 10 minutes. Then we'll go to break and come back. Let's talk about Vicky.
Oh, yes, the very important, very sentimental, quite emotional, wonderful send-off that Vicky Guerrero got on Raw this week. That was quite possibly one of the most moving pieces of television I have ever seen in my entire life.
I liked it. I'm really not mad at all with the way that she was sent off. That she came out to Eddie's music, and that she went over 3 active, and you could make the argument that for divas they're, strong. She went over 3 strongish divas. She still went out, but I mean she still pushed Steph into the I believe that was like tapioca pudding.
I believe the flavor was butterscotch, actually.
It did kind of look caramelish, I thought, but I don't know. It was something. It wasn't nasty like they were saying it was. I'm sure of that. But I am not mad at all. The only thing I'm sad that there are no Guerreros. Excuse me, there are no Guerreros left in the WWE, and that makes me sad.
Yep, this is true. This is true. The promo at the top of the show that Steffi and Vicky cut. Oh my lord! Who here? And stand on your head if you ever thought that this was possible. But who here could actually believe that the phrase "excuse me" would actually get a humongous, giant pop? For God's sake, that was incredible.
Well, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Vicky is fucking over.
She is.
As a heel, yes, she's over.
But here's the thing. Vicky isn't... it's not like... The fans don't legitimately hate her. They don't have go-away heat for her. When they boo her when she says, excuse me, they don't mean it as, boo, go away, I hate your guts. They're just doing it in reaction to her character. It's like how the fans couldn't help but chant "You suck" to Kurt Angle's music. They didn't really hate him. They didn't really think he sucked. They loved him, and that's how they thought
he sucked for the longest time. The longest time they thought they sucked.
That's true.
But it became like a sort of gesture of love, kind of.
Eventually, when you turn something around long enough, you actually do begin to love it a little bit. So I'm not terribly surprised that this is happening with this particular scenario. I don't know if I would say that, everybody loved her necessarily. I mean, she was definitely an afterthought for the past couple years. But I'm happy that she's moving on to other pastures, and thus ends the saga of the Guerrero family in the WWE.
For now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What about Vicky's daughter? I thought she had... Nope. Really? Okay.
She's out.
Oh, didn't know that. Be right there.
No Shaw Guerrero. I was kind of excited to see how she would do on the main roster at some point, but that's... apparently not going to happen.
Do you know what my favorite thing in the whole wide world is, though?
What's that?
The goop pool. I mean, seriously, when was the last time there was a goop pool? And you know that they were all going in it as soon as there was a goop pool.
Oh, well, obviously, because that's how the goop pool works. But the last time we saw one was Vicky versus... what was her name? Damn it. It was Santina. Santina Marella.
Oh my god, wow. That's a long time ago. 2008,
That's right.
2009? God damn, 5 years since a goop thing. I can't even remember one after that.
I mean, that's not a gimmick match you want to break out all the time.
That's true. I mean, it once was a Thanksgiving gravy match, and then there was another one with, like, Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle or something like that. And blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, otherwise, Vicky looked amazing. I was hoping for I called a frog splash if there was going to be an actual match in the ring. Which would have been, which we all know which would have been amazing. And I was like, wait a minute, it's the pool. There's going to be a frog splash into the... Never mind. What am I saying? This is Vicky Guerrero we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think you had got your hopes a little too high there. We got 11 and a half minutes. You think we can get through the drive-thru?
If we crank it through really fast and Netchester doesn't screw it up... Oh, wait.
He's not even here. Quick, let's do it while he's gone.
Alright, so Dairy Queen drive-thru, I'm going to go through the ratings. Ratings this week: Impact, Thursday night's live edition of TNA Impact, which drew a 1.01 cable rating, up 13% from last week's 0.89. It is the best number since the 1.02 on April 10th. The good news is that viewership was up a huge 33% from last week. SmackDown drew a 1.84 cable rating, up 8% from last week's 1.7, so perfect SmackDown holding at that rating. And then Raw. Monday Night's Raw scored a 2.84 cable rating, down from 2.9 from the previous week. The show averaged 4.031 million viewers, down from the 4.126 million average viewership from last week. And with the birthdays, Yankum DDS.
Alright, here we go with the birthdays. On the 25th, we have Layla Hiroki Goto. Mark Haskins. On the 26th, we have J.J. Dillon. On the 28th, we have Reich. On the 29th, we have Serena Deeb. The 30th are Alicia Fox. The man of
Chainsaw Charlie.
I was going to try and give him some awesome nickname there. Just the Funker. Terry Funk.
Forever.
And Cody Rhodes. And on the 1st, we have Abismo Negro, who I'm sure NetJester would have called Abismo Negro because he is racist, homophobe. Yoshitatsu, Carmela de Cesar.
That would be correct.
Alright, if there are any dead people in our birthdays, be sure to tweet, email, Facebook, Instagram, tout us that dead person's name, and there may be a prize in it for you. Nobody's done it yet, except for the one time, and we gave that guy a t-shirt. So, do it.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this weekend, wrestling history, circa 1936, where Everett Marshall defeats Ali Baba for the NWA Heavyweight Wrestling title. Marshall was already the Midwest Wrestling Association Heavyweight Champion. Jump to 1989, where the AWA held their War in the Windy City, in Chicago, of course, featuring AWA World Heavyweight Champion Larry Zbyszko battling Greg Gagne to a Raw to retain the title, and Colonel De Beers defeating Derek Dukes in a loser gets painted yellow match. And in 2009, as part of a promotional stunt to reflect Donald Trump as the new owner of Monday Night Raw, every ticket holder at that night's taping in Green Bay had their ticket refunded, a $235,000 value. It was also an entirely commercial-free Raw, which saw Vince McMahon trying to convince Trump to return Raw to him, which Trump finally agreed to after accepting double what he paid, and slapping McMahon as he tried to deliver his signature "You're fired" line. Many of the mainstream media took the news that Trump had purchased Raw seriously, leading to a 7% stock decrease. And that was this weekend in wrestling history.
No one is terribly surprised by that one. Happy trails. Happy trails to Josh... What? Josh Matthews? Oh my god. Happy trails to Josh Matthews, who's been released by WWE, according to a report by PW Insider. His profile is already in the alumni section on WWE.com. He's been with the company since he was in Tough Enough in 2004. Damn, Josh, 10 years, bro. Nice job. And happy trails to Jonathan Coachman, who might not be returning to WWE after all, since he answered a fan on Twitter who said everybody wants him back. Everyone except that WWE. Alright, well, Alright, so what should we watch this week in wrestling? Yankum DDS.
Well, I continued my strike this week, and the only wrestling, the only part of Raw, and I guess the only wrestling I watched this week was the Vicky Guerrero segment. So let's go old school again. Let me think here. Something classic. Let's go with Stone Cold Steve Austin's first King of the Ring win.
Okay, I believe that. Who was that against?
That was that against Jake the Snake? I don't know. That's not right.
I've forgotten.
I don't think he beat Jake the Snake for the win. I think he beat someone else for the win and then started talking about Jake. I don't remember.
Omega BR, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
So I'll give this whole Russell TNA relationship, even though I'm pretty sure guys like Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles were the one with the company were some of the first people to head on over there. Why don't you go see if you can find or check out the whole when AJ Styles defended the TNA World Title in Russell 1 against Sonata, who would eventually become X Division champion.
Jester, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, I'll go back to my video library for the ECW Unreleased Volume 2. And you guys remember when Taz had his own heavyweight championship? It was the FTW World Heavyweight Championship. And there's a three-way dance with Taz and... Let's see real quick. Who was that? It was Taz and... Sabu versus Bam Bam Bigelow in a three-way dance for that FTW World Heavyweight Champion. So watch that.
That is actually a really good match. I enjoyed it. This week I'm going to suggest from the recent Dominion show from NJPW, Kota Ibushi versus, who is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. I did the same thing that Jester did. Oh my god, shoot me. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Ricochet, who won the tournament, who won the junior tournament at the previous show for a title shot at that title. Amazing flippy shit. When I say amazing flippy shit, I mean it's better than the flippy shit that I've been watching normally. So holy crap, watch that. And WWE, you passed on that. Wow. Okay, so that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. You can check us out at twitter.com/smarksdark, facebook.com/smarksdark, at smart. You can email us, smarksdark@gmail.com. The Radio Woo Project. Just to let y'all know, that is on the back burner right now. I am currently figuring out a way to make it, not that stressful and low, something that could be regularly updated by something that isn't me, physically plugging and playing, stuff into a playlist. So once I figure that out, you will see more news about the Woo Radio Project. Otherwise, it's going dark for now. Other than that, thank y'all for listening. And there's one.
Give it a quick plug to Fighting Back, the Wrestling with Cancer charity. Go to fighting-back.ca to donate and check out their auctions.
And coming up soon, on a future show, we will have the one, the only Player Uno joining us in our TeamSpeak studios. So expect that to be a thing sometime in the near future. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening, and take care. Spike your hair.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Uno knows it.
Good night, Paintsville.